Guys, as always, is any questions you guys have, feel free to throw it in the chat. We've got Jesse and Bo and myself, one of us, always monitoring that. John Lyon, what's up, buddy? Welcome to the call. John's in Utah. He's flying Elvis's Utah chapter. Love it.
Believe it or not, we had a flying Elvis Utah chapter conversation this morning. That's how.
Yes, we did, John.
That's how professional all of our meetings are.
Now, Peyton, that reference predates you, I'm afraid, my friend. That is a movie reference, though.
1992. Yeah. Can't say I'm following too much.
Of course, this movie reference predates you too. So you recognize that, Peyton?
Can't say I do. Oh wait, no, it's Ferris Bueller. Ferris Bueller. Yeah, no, it's Ferris Bueller.
Yes,
I know that. Yeah,
you.
I've seen that. Oh yeah.
All right.
Took me a sec, but yeah.
We'll get rocking and rolling here, everybody. So welcome to our Friday Fire Up. I have to say this, we are pretty fired up today. We've had one of our best sales weeks yet, which is so cool to see. You guys probably see my email, and I say about the same line every week because it is growing momentum every week. Another week of momentum, and it does continue to build. But Dave, correct me if I'm wrong. Is this our best sales week of the year so far? I want to say it is.
It's a tie, but it's only Friday morning. So
right.
Clearly with this group, we're gonna throw another few apps in today, I expect. So
there's more to come. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. So we have a lot of updates. There's a lot moving and shaking. So we'll jump into some of these for you guys. You can see my screen, correct? Yeah.
Bingo.
Okay. Yep. So Alaska Cruise, we are psyched about this. We have 9 weeks to go to punch your ticket for that and get on the boat. So again, 14 final expense apps in the second quarter get you on the boat. We very well could have our first qualifier at close of day today. So we have one person that is one away from punching their ticket, which is super exciting. Another reminder, we have our onboarding next Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific. I will send that link out later today. So if you want to join us on that, make sure you have that earmarked on your calendar, and that link will be coming shortly. Jesse, I know you've been doing a lot of work on this Ethos contract. What updates do you have for us, fine sir?
Yeah, we're really excited to partner. We've been appointed with Ethos. We've gone through negotiations, got that set up, and that'll be available to everyone soon. What we liked about partnering with Ethos was their self-enroll for life products. We're seeing about people going through the one thing about Ethos that we loved is once the way they waterfall kind of their education of what product do I need, what is the explanation of it, steer me towards the right product. They're closing machines. They're just amazing. They're seeing 50% taking a term life product, 25% taking a whole life, the other 25 going right to the final expense. So it's just we're going to have individual URLs for each person. You'll be able to, add that on. Obviously, the more assistance we can do as agents, to talk to people and help them get the right product is great. But when all is said and done, if you have a parting goodbye or want to do that as part of the Woo Center campaign, we'll have the ability to send those links, the individual links to track through and capture business on the back end. So really excited about that. Give us the next week to kind of set things up, and then we'll be setting up personal invites to get appointed, get your own URL. So very cool.
And guys, awesome. Thank you, Jesse. And guys, Ethos, you guys may see advertisements for Ethos online, social media, that kind of stuff. It's self-enroll life insurance. So no assistance from you whatsoever. Literally, if they click on a link that's yours, you get paid full commission. Even if they have a question and end up calling the call center on Ethos and an agent finishes the application for you, you get full commission on it. So it is less commission. I want to point this out, less commission than what you do if you handle the whole app, but it's untouched by you. So you'll be able to put it out in your social media, put it out as a QR code on your business card, get creative, right? Anybody who clicks on the link enrolls. Jesse said it right. They are a closing machine. Their system is built to take an application, not just take an application though, but to nurture that lead and take it all the way through, do follow-ups, do the whole thing. So you guys will have another source to drive revenue without you having to put a big lift in it. So Jesse, thank you for pushing that contract along.
Yeah, if your clients are anything like me, I'm signing up for things that 2:30 in the morning. So you might as well be making some money while you're sleeping.
Jesse, don't tell us what you're signing up for at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, we don't need to know.
Yeah. No
Are they
comment.
hot locals in your area? I'm just saying.
I am the hot local in my area.
Yeah,
That's what Bonnie says.
That's right.
Mostly just knives that can cut through shoes, right, Jesse?
That's right. Ginsu knives. Yeah, Jesse's buying Ginsu knives at 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
ShamWows.
That's right. Yeah, I like to think of Ethos as a tech company that just happens to sell life insurance. So they are definitely legit. And once we get, Jesse mentioned, give us a little bit of time, and then you'll start getting the invites for that. Once we have a few folks with those invites, we actually are going to schedule them to do a demo on our Friday Fireup. So you can see, Jesse mentioned a waterfall. It's really cool. We went through it with them. It asks a series of questions, and it very smoothly walks people through the process and directs them to the application of what fits their needs the best, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I would just say on that, one of the coolest things that you can translate that into all your sales is, what are you trying to protect? Are you trying to protect your family? Are you worried about when you pass away? It's going to be a really cool kind of different take on it to see how they do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, very cool. So the name of the game is access, right? And so this is just giving us access to folks that normally we're not going to have access to. So it's another fishing line in the water, pulling in revenue for you. So Dave, I know you've been monitoring our sales quite a bit. You want to speak to Transamerica, what's happening there?
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So we see a lot of applications in Transamerica. I mean, from this week, there are 14 pinned applications right now that need a little nudge from the agent. So if you write an app that pens in Transamerica, you're gonna get messaging from Trans that you may need to go update something, answer a question, get some data from the client. Guys, make sure you monitor it. It just doesn't magically fix itself. And it could time out. So you went through the effort of selling an application, and make sure you go and monitor that. So jump back into your Transamerica portal. If you've got pending business, right as you open it up, it's going to show you what's pending. You click on it, it'll show you what information is needed to get from the client. It looks like most of those are not the final expense apps. It looks like the ones that are pending are the larger life apps, and congratulations on those folks who are writing 100, 200 plus $1,000 applications. But make sure you jump in and manage your pending business. You made an effort. If you want to get paid, got to get it to issue. So yeah, there's 14 pending apps right now for us. So if you've written Transamerica apps in the past week or so, jump in, make sure that your business is all cleared. You do have to kind of sometimes get a few more pieces of data to get your applications to issue.
Awesome. Bo, I know you've been working on WooSender, brother. You want to give us that update?
Yeah, so very, very similar to Dave. We've got quite a few folks that came in hot and heavy and started contacting their leads. But then, I don't know, maybe you went on vacation, something happened, you forgot to go in and check your WooSender. So please go and check WooSender. We have about 150 conversations that have the attention flag because the AI doesn't know what to do with it. Now, granted, some of these are people that just have said, hey, please take me off your list. That's okay. But we do have to tell the system to actually take them off their list. And then there are quite a few, though, that are people saying, yeah, I'm interested. I want to do this. I want to follow up, or I have a question. And so they need you. And those are potential sales. So just make sure to go in there and check that. You can filter by going in there and just saying, hey, I only want to see something that says attention on it. And yeah, that's about all I got for WooSender right now.
Awesome. Thank you, Bo. One more thing I wanted to give an update on that I don't have a bullet for here is leads. So with the help of our good partner, Mr. Confidence himself, Jordan Sharp, we're in the process right now of learning how to master social media to be able to generate our own leads. As we get through that process, and we're highly motivated on that as well. Our goal is never to be making money off leads. We're not in the lead generation money making business for ourselves, right? We want to teach all of you how to fish. And so once we have that dialed in, we will have a Fireup coming up to where we will take people through how to generate your own leads, by the way, if that's something that you're interested in. And so put that in, tuck that one away. That one's coming here in coming weeks, how to do that. So last plug today anyway for Alaska. Again, we probably will have our first qualifier this week. But the reason why we threw this out again is because we've really enjoyed our careers over the last 20, 23 years, whatever. We enjoy culture. We enjoy working with people that we want to work with. We enjoy working with people that are like-minded. We like to, of course, provide a lot of value to our clients. We like to make a lot of money while we're doing it to be able to provide for our families and the lifestyle that we have. So this is something that we wanted to do. But I want to talk about opportunity. So the reason why all of us jumped into this was for opportunity. The reason why we're reaching out to all of our Aflac friends is because of opportunity. We already mentioned this. Access to people is the name of the game, right? Our initial vision with all of this was to put things in people's hand, put tools in people's hands to be able to augment their business, augment their revenue streams, and just stack on top of things that you were already doing. And in the marketplace right now, it's been pretty fascinating to see the shift. That I started with Aflac. I know many of you on the call started with Aflac or worksite benefits. And the marketplace today is so different from the way it was 20 years ago when I started. There's a lot more competition out there. There's a lot more brokers in the marketplace. There's a lot more turnover, which we're going to talk about. But with all of that change, you guys know this, with change comes a world of opportunity. And that's what we want to talk about today is what opportunity, especially if you've started your career and you've built a book of business on the worksite side of things, that's the opportunity we want to talk about today. So with that, Dave, I'm gonna pivot to you to speak a little bit about the state of the marketplace.
So really interesting, guys, is that back 50 years ago, it was graduate from college, go work for the same company for 40 years, get a gold watch and a pension, and retire. That is not the world that we live in today. We've been looking at what do turnover rates look like. We have a lot of folks who on this call who have come from the worksite or are still in the worksite business and working with companies for benefits. But you look at what turnover is, right? So construction, 54%. So you think of any construction company out there, more than half of their employees will not be with them next year. I mean, that high a turnover. Manufacturing, 37, trade, 49, information, 32. You even think of the things like education, teachers, and health services, doctors, nurses, that type of stuff is about as stable of industry as you can. And still almost 40% of those employees are turning over every single year. And the most stable of all is government. And we're still sitting at 18% turnover, which is shocking, right? Because those are like the lifer jobs that people get. And the reason why we bring it up is that as you're working in the worksite business, oftentimes companies have employer paid products in place. And I came from, a lot of you guys know, I worked in the worksite side as an Aflac agent, as a district region state sales coordinator. But then I worked in the broker channel for 7 years. I worked in that broker channel. And any company that, in fact, we have people on the call right now that I'm sure of it, probably larger companies, they don't even have to be that big. There's employer funded life insurance that gets put in. Because from an employer perspective, an employer-funded life product is a pretty cheap product because it's term life insurance. It's really cheap to offer. It's a nice bow to put on a benefits package to make people feel good about it. And look, bow's been the theme for today. It's a really easy thing to do. But the problem is as soon as those employees leave their job, there's no more life insurance. It does not go with them. And oftentimes those employer paid products, there's no portability to it. They're not going to bring them with them. Paul, Bo, and I all just left Aflac. Portability on some of our stuff went bye-bye. And even when portability is available, porting of coverage is next to nothing. It is awful. Aflac's pounding on it like crazy. Colonial's pounding on it like crazy. How are we going to capture this business? They put in place mechanisms like Aflac always trying to be able to capture that business, but we're doing a terrible job of capturing that business. And what all of this looks like is right. Anytime that there's a problem also means opportunity. A challenge is opportunity. And every one of those, those of you who are in the work site have a group probably in one of those industries. I can't see very many faces on here, but I hope some of you are nodding your head and you're like, yeah, I got some of those type of groups. Now you start thinking, I want you, those of you who have groups that are in those pools, start thinking about them, right? You've been on site, you've talked to those employees. Now picture 54% of them disappearing tomorrow. Well, it's opportunity because they're going to rehire more people. Fantastic. Go sell them some freaking insurance. But it also means all those people walking out the door means opportunity for you. Paul, can you go to the next slide? Oh, it's Jordan again. Deny. Just kidding. So I want to talk about turnover, right? So when we look at like 45% turnover average, so if we took a look at a pool of employees, that a pool of employees of 100 employees, that could be, and I'm looking over on the left there, that pool of employees could be over 10 groups, 15 groups, or one group, or just a location of a group. That means 45 employees are disappearing. Well, if you reach out to those terminated employees, it's not hard to find out who those are. Employers will give them to you. They'll tell you who are leaving. The cool part is that we've got a tool with WooSender and with Bo. I think that's the 5th mention of Bo today so far. With Bo, to be able to build a campaign for you guys, to be able to take that employee data and send them a message. Hey, we know you've left your employment. You want to make sure that you can have coverage to protect your family. Reminding them exactly what Jesse said earlier, reminding them that of why they bought life insurance in the first place. Who are they protecting? Because it's not to protect them, right? It's to protect their spouse, their children, their whomever. So if you turn around and you go, look, if I just grab 11 of those people this year, it's $12,000 in premium, $9,400 in commission, $7,000 of advance with very little effort. Again, it's getting access to those people that we already know. We know who they are, and an employer is very happy to help take to give you that data, and you already have that data. So I want you guys to just think about it. Turnover sounds scary. Businesses hate it, but you know what? It's opportunity. Every one of these is opportunities to take a bite at an apple. And if we can plug this into our system with WooSender to ping those employees, and we'll work with you on we'll show you guys what that campaign looks like. Let's go grab some of those employees that leave. Especially if you know folks that are on leaving companies that have employer paid life, man, this is a home run for you guys. They bought life insurance for a reason, and now you've got an option to help them out. Paul, I know you were going to kind of keep running with this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we want to give you the status of the marketplace, right? So Dave mentioned this. Aflac is beating this drum like crazy right now. Colonial's beating the drum like crazy right now. Most of us came into the insurance industry not because we grew up wanting to be insurance agents, right? In fact, I know 0 people on this call that's why they started insurance, right? Or you did not grow up.
Paul, that's all I've ever wanted to do.
That's all we know one person that's all they've ever wanted to do. But most of us came into the industry because we wanted a passive renewable income stream, right? Renewals is a huge component to the insurance game. Well, what we've started to see because of that shift in marketplace is that the workforce is shifting, right? So the average employee, you've probably heard me say this before, but the average employee in the United States right now changes jobs every 3 years, right? So if only about 2% of people are taking their coverage with them when they leave that employer,
Repeat that again. What percentage, Paul?
2%, right? So if only 2% of people port their coverage, it's getting a little bit more difficult to build a renewal base on the worksite side of things, right? So what we've seen is a tremendous opportunity because of this reason. Dave, you know this stat. How often, Dave, if they're changing their jobs every 3 years, how often do they change their bank accounts?
Bank accounts, and it's the reason why AFLAC requires ACH once every 22 years.
Yeah, there you go. So I'm going to take something that's going to stick for 22 years over something that sticks for 3 years, right? We're all going to do that. And so that's the tremendous opportunity that we have right now. That's why a lot of the worksite carriers, that's what they're doing, is they're trying to push people to get their products onto a backup ACH plan, right? So with our products, that's what we lead with, but we have opportunities here. So that's what we want to talk about today. And these, by the way, these are best practices from your peers from around the country. This is what people are doing. In fact, it was really exciting. I got a text message from an AFLACer, someone on our team at, I think Tuesday's night is when it was, about 6:30 p.m. And the text essentially said, bro, I just sold 10 FE policies in my AFLAC enrollment today. Absolutely. I mean, I did not do it justice because he was super excited. I mean, who's not going to be excited to have sold 10 products, 10 life policies in their AFLAC enrollment that day, right? So that's what we want to share. These are some of the best practices. Some of them you've heard from us before, but we'll go through it. So I want to start with this. If you have worksite enrollments, remember this. The name of the game is access to people, right? That's what everyone pays for. That's why a lot of the worksite carriers want worksite, because they can go to one employer and they can get in front of 20 people, right? So if you're already in front, if you're on the worksite side of the house, you're already getting in front of people each and every week, right? Those are opportunities for you. So here are some of the best practices that we're seeing. So pre-enrollment, hopefully you're doing a little bit of pre-work and preparing yourself for that enrollment. So are you getting in front of people? So here's one thing that we heard that people are having a lot of success with. Most people these days, if you're enrolling worksite, you have a platform that you're enrolling on. So whether it's Navigator, Solarix, Ease, Everwell, you name it, you've got a platform. Well, all of these platforms maintain policyholder information, right? And so if you're going in for an enrollment that it is a re-enrollment, right? You're going back in, you have all of the data of all of those policyholders already in whatever system that you use, right? So if you took just a little bit of time before you head into that enrollment, and don't ask to quote, I'm going to ask Dave to speak to this in a little bit here, but you just simply quote people, right? Because you've also heard us say this ad nauseum. In fact, tonight when you're trying to fall asleep, you're going to hear my obnoxious voice in your head saying, second most sought after product in the marketplace, right? Because life insurance is the second most sought after product. So everyone wants it, right? And so they already want it. They're not going to ask you for it, but if you put it in front of them, they're going to take it, right? So if you simply go through your platform, look at your existing policyholders beforehand, and just generate a quote. Dave, what's a good rule of thumb of where to start a quote on someone like that, would you say?
Lower is always better, right? If you have no idea what budget is, we know budget's the number one reason why somebody jumps in. So when we respond back, and in Woo Center, when you respond back, I know we've got some non-AFLAC folks out there. When people start asking about price or talking about budget, we always like to use off starting at $1 a day, and then you don't make it so it's like tricky. So like $1 a day or about $30 a month is the way I would frame that up. So for some of the the Johns and the Peytons out there, you don't have a worksite client. Somebody's going to ask you on Woo Center, Oh, I can't afford Jordan Sharp. By the way, I responded to one of your clients today on WooSender. They said, "Oh, I don't have a budget for it." I'm like, "Oh, I understand. Budget's very important for just about everybody. We will want to fit your budget and make it comfortable. We can get products starting out at about $1 a day or about $30 a month. That's a nice jumping off the off point because what people do, they're like, "Oh, cool, I can afford $1 a day. What could I get for $2 a day?" Is the way the clients respond. They actually will leverage it up. You're like, oh, cool. Now we're off to the races.
Perfect. Thanks, Dave. So if you're wondering, well, where in the world do I start? Start there, right? In all of the quoting tools, by the way, I know Jesse and Bo went through this last week. You have the option of quoting based off budget or quoting based off benefit, right? So you can just simply in the quoting tool put in $30. What can this person get for $30, right? And you don't have to have this nice fancy sheet for every person. I mean, that wouldn't hurt either. You could simply just throw it all in a spreadsheet with their names and what that quote is. And as they sit down in front of you in your enrollment, you can just simply say, hey, I quote all of my clients. Here's a quote I put together for you, right? So we're seeing a lot of success with that because, again, you're getting in front of people anyway. You might as well quote them. So that's pre-enrollment. During enrollment, this is the easiest thing that you can be doing. I know, Dave, you as a sales rep, you had a significant portion of your book of business was life, right?
When I was an agent,
how would you do that?
When I was an agent in Utah, well, I'm not as big a numbers nerd as Paul, but it's close. What I am is I'm inherently lazy, guys. I want to make the most possible money for the least amount of effort I can put. Maybe some people call it efficient, whatever. So I sat down with the commission structures and I went, what pays me the most? If I have to enroll somebody, do I want to get paid 30% or 40%? Oh, I have a product over here that pays me 70%. That's not a really hard decision for me if it's the same effort. And so I just went, I'm just going to try it. So literally everybody who sat down, I wouldn't matter if it's Peyton, who's in his 20s, or Jesse, who's sniffing 60. Just kidding, Jess. I quoted everybody. I just made it. It was just a statement. I just say, oh, I make sure I quote everybody, make sure I can get you taken care of for life insurance. It was shocking how many 20 somethings bought life insurance because 20 somethings don't think about life insurance very often, but they think about their car and all that kind of stuff. And they're always shocked because I can go quote a 20-year-old, right? We've got a Transamerica product. I can go quote a 20-year-old a product that's costing them $10 or $15 a month for $25,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. And that's not a scary number all of a sudden. They're like, oh, cool. There's something, it's sort of like putting your big boy pants on. All of a sudden you're like, oh yeah, I bought life insurance. And it's so what if it's $5 or $10? It doesn't matter. But I quoted everybody. And at the time when I was in Utah, I led the state in life sales. The only thing different I did is I quoted everybody. They'd be like, oh no, I'm good. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I just quote everybody. I just move on. I quoted it to them. You guys know I just came from the tier 1 from Aflac's direct to consumer division, and the call centers were under me. So we had our Aflac call center and 2 partner call centers. And I was looking at our call center, 21 agents. And we were trying to figure out, and we kind of had, it was like totally bifurcated in that all these people had the same stuff, same access to products. They're all remote. They're all sitting at home in front of their computer. But we had half our group that was selling final expense almost every day. And we had half our group that literally hadn't even they were still final expense virgins. They hadn't sold a single policy. And we're like, what the heck are they doing different? So my call center manager and I started listening to phone calls. When they tell you on the 800 number, these calls may be monitored. I monitored calls. And as we listened to them, the only difference between the sales group and the non-sales group was the ask. That's it. We kind of almost wanted it to be more complex. We had to solve a problem. It was an ask. And what was amazing is when we started, these guys were employees, so we required it. We just said, you're going to ask everybody now. The non-sales group, within a week, we had no more FE virgins. They were all selling life insurance. And we asked them, what was the difference? They're like, well, I just wasn't asking. So that's what we're telling you guys today to do is, it's like, hey, I already ran a quote. I can get it for you for $29 a month. I can get you $20,000 or whatever that number is. And you just make the statement. Here's what the quote is. You give them the quote. That's it. That's the magic. I mean, I wish it, actually, I don't wish it was more complex. If it was more complex, you'd think about it more, but it is that simple. And so for those of you who don't have a book of business, I would tell you, as you get your leads, have a quote ready to go. When you pick up the phone and call them, have a quote ready to go. And you can use that kind of that dollar a day number as a jumping off point when you're having communication.
That's a good threshold. So Dave shared something on Instagram with me this morning. You know, we shared a lot of dumb stuff, but we also shared some motivating stuff. But one of the things he shared with me this morning were just things that you can apply into your daily life for success, right? And one of them was, you don't have to complicate things. Successful people just simply take action. That's it. They're disciplined and they take action. That's it. So this is just simply that. It's taking action. The close is super simple. Does that work for you? Right? That's it. So, all right. So quote everybody that you're getting in front of in the enrollment. So I didn't put this one in here, but also DMs. So our top sales guy right now, every single DM appointment that he's sitting with, he's also
for those non-Aflac people, that's decision maker.
Yes.
By the way, for non-Aflac people.
Yeah, the employers, right? Quoting every employer. And he's getting quite a few of those. So, all right, that's during enrollment. So post-enrollment, a lot of you worksite folks, you do this, right? If you're doing a big group presentation, you don't have time to enroll everyone on the spot right there, right? And so a very simple tool that a lot of people use are interest sheets. And so you send out information, you send out a sheet, they fill it out. Yes, I'm interested in this, they get it back. On that, I would simply generate a quote for every single, well, I wouldn't, this is a best practice that we see. I would do that as well, but just simply quote every single person on that interest sheet, reach back out to them, right? Hey, I quote, again, the verbiage, I quote all of my clients, I can get you X amount for $1 a day, super simple, right? When our ethos portals come around, by the way, you'll be able to generate a QR code, throw that on there as well. So if you can't get a hold of them for some reason, they could also do it themselves. Again, that percentage of folks that are going to do that themselves is not going to be high. So I would not build my career off that, but it is another tool. Okay, so that's worksite pre, during, and post enrollment. I want to share a little bit more around what other tools you can leverage based on what you have already, and that's your book of business. So Dave shared already what those turnover rates look like, right? So again, if you're an Aflacker, you know what this is. Every Aflac rep has a persistency scoreboard, which shows all of the employees that are falling off their book of business. If you're not an Aflacker, again, you're using some kind of platform to be able to enroll your products, right? All of those platforms have this same tool in there. You can go in and you can see who is falling off the invoice. Dave and I sat through a demo as a favor for a broker friend of ours this week on a new platform. One of the things they highlighted was, hey, as the broker, you can jump into your book of business and you can see every single policyholder that is falling off that book of business, right? This is something that insurance carriers really focus on. So if your work site, you have all of this info available to you. So here's what you do. You just simply be disciplined and take action. Reach out to every single one of those employees falling off. So one of our sales reps doing a hell of a job. He's selling about 1 or 2 a week just off of this, right? What he mentioned was he pulls it on Monday. He does a bunch of meetings Monday mornings, Monday afternoons. He goes in, he takes a look at his persistency scoreboard, and he simply just picks up the phone and he reaches out. Oh, and look, I did do this. Also, quote your DM. So here's what you say, because that's what I get a lot of. Well, what is it exactly that I say when I'm talking about this? So here's a very simple script that you can look at. We are going to be compiling some of the verbiage that some of our folks, some of our teammates are using around different states. We're also going to be doing a few videos, interviews as well, so we can share some of these best practices so you can hear it from the horse's mouth. But here's an example. So if Dave were one of my clients that was falling off, I noticed in my persistency scoreboard, whether, again, regardless of the platform, if I notice he's a policyholder that's fallen off, I just simply call him. Hey, Dave, this is Paul, your Aflac rep or whatever rep. I'm calling because I received notice that your coverage is set to terminate, and I want to know if you wanted to maintain your coverage on a direct basis. I can take care of that in just a few minutes. Also, we have a new life product that, again, keep this in mind when you're throwing this out there. They did not ask for this, but life insurance is the what number product that's most sought after? Number 2,
Dos.
right? I'm going to make damn sure that you guys all hear my voice in your head when you're falling asleep tonight. So we also have a new life product that many of my clients are picking up since they know they need life insurance, and I can take care of this. And you can take this wherever you work. I quote all of my clients, I can potentially get you $20,000 of coverage for less than $50 a month. Again, I would tweak that to what we said, $30 a month or $1 a day. Again, you have their info though from these platforms, so you can have that quote ready to rock, right? So that's why I put that one in there at that amount. But that's it. Super simple conversation. It's going to be a yes or a no. You have the sales portals opened up, ready to go. You quote their life. You make a sale. So I do want to open it up for some Q&A. Any questions or anything that's bubbling up as we've gone through some of this stuff with everybody?
Hey guys, I want you to have an experiment today as a Friday experiment. I like to I really like trying stuff out. So I want you to try today. You're gonna bump into a few random people. Maybe it's friends, maybe it's family, maybe it's a random cashier. Ask them if they have. I'm not trying to tell you to go sell these people, by the way. Number one, but if you do, cool. Ask them if they have life insurance. If they say no, ask them why not. What do you got? And so, okay, we got 20 people on this call. Does everybody on this call have life insurance? If the answer is no, why not? Why not? Can somebody give me an answer? Why not? Peyton's 22 years old or something. I don't know how old you are, Peyton, but I think Peyton's like, it's because I'm 22 and I'm bulletproof. Clearly, he's basically half step from a superhero. But so at 22, he's like, maybe I don't have my assets to protect. I don't have kids to put through college or a mortgage to pay. But ask people why they don't have it. Most of them will go like, oh, well, I really should. You're going to hear that answer back, especially if they've hit middle age. Like, I really should. Of course they really should. You know why they haven't because they've never been asked. And so try it. Just try it as the experiment. Picture my goofy looking white haired face in your head saying, hey, do you guys have life insurance? Why not? Ask the question today. I'm interested. I would love feedback next week when you guys are on. Tell me what the answers you get. I can almost guarantee that they're going to say, I should. You're going to hear that over and over and over again. I should. Of course they should. If you have any people in your life or assets that you want to protect, absolutely you should. And so I'm interested to hear what those responses are from you guys next week. So we'll put that as a follow-up for next week. We'll say what were the responses. Give it a run, guys. I'm interested. I'm super interested to hear because you guys are solving a problem for people. The other thing is,
hey, on that note, before you jump into the next thing, Dave, since we started this whole thing, right? A lot of people knew my career. A lot of people knew that we did quite well with it, and so they were kind of floored that we changed jobs. And just last week, we ran into so many people that I haven't seen in a while. And so they would ask me, hey, how's the new gig going? What is it that you're doing anyway, right? So just asking and answering those questions. No joke, 4 people. I came across 4 people last week that said, oh, you're doing life insurance? I need life insurance. Can you help me with that? I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, I can. So just knowing that I'm doing something new, it is, again, something that everyone needs. So I like that. Sorry, Dave, you were going to comment on one more thing.
No. I mean, you're right. You're right on the exact the exact same path. Is that, guys? You're solving a real problem for people. Some of you guys know Paul and I were out last week. We were at a funeral, and I couldn't help it. I mean, through teary eyes and all that stuff, I still kept seeing dollar signs everywhere I looked at my sister's funeral. Now, my sister was a little fancy. I've never seen a gold casket with silver trim, but that's my sister. But I also looked at it and went, cha-ching, like it's expensive. Unfortunately, dying in America is not a cheap prospect. And nobody wants to stick Nobody wants to stick their kids or their spouse with that cost. Houses are expensive, cars are expensive, college is expensive. Guys, that's what we're protecting. We truly are doing something that impacts families in a big way. Any one of us can pull up the local news right now, and somebody has died in a car accident. Somebody's died unexpectedly, and are unprepared. You guys really are solving problems. That was one of my big draws to Aflac in the first place is, being able to sell a product to my mom. That's always what I kind of base would I sell this to my mom? If the answer is hell no, I shouldn't touch it. And, I'm like, we sell a product that pays. Guys, all the carriers that we represent pay their claims. They do what they're supposed to do. They are all top-rated companies. And we get to be there when somebody goes through some pretty crappy stuff. Then we get to be the ones who are going to solve. When you guys start selling the stuff, I know we've got some folks on that have, and they're already on the books. Claims are coming, unfortunately. Claims are coming, and you guys will all have that experience. But just know that you get to impact people and families in a big positive way. Whoa, we got a party going on somewhere. Maybe it was a funeral. Maybe it was a funeral. You never know. Anyway, Paul, back to you, buddy.
All right. Well, hey, if no other questions, that's what we wanted to share today for everyone. So just remember, access to folks is the name of the game, right? If you don't get in front of people, you can't sell people. So just make sure you're taking advantage of those opportunities. Make sure you're quoting. Again, it's the number 2 most sought after product. People need it. People want it. Bo, Jesse, any parting words before we cut everyone loose here?
No, just let us know what we can do to help you.
May the odds ever be in your favor.
All right. Hey,
Awesome,
thank you,
gang.
everybody.
Hey, don't forget, only 14 apps, and you too get to be on an Alaskan cruise on January 1st. I'm just joking. It's August. Not August 1st. August 30th, Paul?
August 30th.
Set sail. Alaska in August is frigging spectacular, by the way, gang. Spectacular. And no, that's for you and a guest. So I'm happy to be anybody's date. My wife won't get on a cruise ship, so I need a date. Anyway, guys, have an awesome weekend. Bo's name keeps ringing in my ears. Bye, guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
All right. See you, everyone.